Ready to start.
Ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is Kari. She is awesome. She's here with me. She is a yoga instructor. She's also a meditation coach. She specializes in transcendental meditation along with other meditations. We're here at her studio, Mind Body Connection. Collective. Mind Body Collective. There we
Yep.
go. Thanks for correcting me on that.
No, that's all good.
Yeah, how's it going?
Super good. Super
Yeah.
good. I'm so glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for being on my podcast. I appreciate
I love this. I love talking to people about
Yeah.
all this stuff.
it. Cool. What do you like most about it?
Um, because it's something that I love so much, and it's not the kind of thing that everybody loves.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in my regular life don't
Uh-huh.
aren't into this. So when I get a chance to talk to any people, my people here at the studio, and then people outside who also dig this kind of stuff, it's just super fun.
Okay, cool. Good. You were telling me that you use certain things in your life and it helps you out a lot, and then you just want to share it with others, which is a wonderful trait. Kind of like meditation.
Yeah.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little more?
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about how I got into this, and as I started to use meditation in my life, it was in a place of looking for direction, guidance and direction. I was just kind of in this empty, not empty because my life was amazing, but as far as knowing what I was supposed to do with my life and with what I've been given, I didn't really know what direction that was supposed to be. And so I started just leaning into every day meditating, not asking for anything specific other than show me what to do. Just this connection to source
Ooh,
that was
source.
just show me, like, I must be here for a reason.
Nice.
There has to be more than, I've had this amazing life of raising my awesome kids, but now they're all ready to kind of go do their own thing. And so what am I supposed to do with what I've been given? Because I have been greatly like blessed. Like I feel like I have a lot to share, and what am I supposed to do with that? And so as I used my meditation practice, it really was every day, just, I don't know, big or small, show me what to do today. And that's all I did. I just really was living my life very intentionally, listening and submitting and not knowing the why, but just allowing things to unfold. So,
Nice. So it gave you purpose in a sense.
yeah, it showed me, it brought me to a place that I never could have imagined. So, a lot of people know in elementary school or high school what they want to do with the rest of their lives,
I don't know about that anymore. It always changes though.
That's true. But a lot of people, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher. I don't think I ever had that. So I did graduate from college and I have my degree in PE. But I never was like, I loved physical education. I liked fitness. I kind of got into that because I was in a space of wanting to, what can I do to stay the skinniest? And okay, I'll get my degree in PE. So coming out of being, feeling like the chubby kid all through junior high and high school. Okay, let's go into college, and nothing is really sparking my interest. So I'll go into PE because if I go into PE, then I can stay skinny.
Okay.
And so I went into health clubs and personal training, and I've taught a million step aerobics classes and pump and all that back in the 90s. But now I was in my 40s. Now what do I do? I've taught a million classes. It's not, I don't need to keep up with the current fitness instructors. I'd gone through my phase of loving CrossFit and coaching CrossFit, and I was a Spanish teacher, and then a real estate agent. And it was after my time of pulling back from real estate and just saying, gosh, there's got to be something else. Like, this is not lighting me up.
So the money wasn't good enough.
It wasn't even the money. It was that everything else was suffering.
Okay.
All my relationships were suffering.
Well, what if you made 10 times as much money in real estate? Would that make a difference? Because you weren't happy.
I just wasn't happy.
Nice. So it wasn't the money. It was something beyond you that you needed. So
Yeah.
let's say source. You're looking for happiness in a sense,
Yeah.
not something materialistic.
No.
I just want to point that out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was looking for fulfillment, and I stepped away. I haven't made as much money doing what I'm doing as I made in real estate, but this makes me so much happier.
I could tell just by your voice.
Every day.
And enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And like the fact that you're so open to talk to me about it.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, you don't know this, but we talked on Wednesday, I believe. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so booked up this weekend." I'm like, "Oh, I really like talking about this topic." And she's like, "You know what? I want to talk about it too. So let me just open up my calendar for you, and then we just made it happen, and we're here.
We
So
did.
thank you for that.
Yeah, you bet. We had a retreat so we chatted on Wednesday. On Thursday, we had a retreat up in Huntsville. We started that Thursday night. It went all day yesterday. It was finishing up this morning, but I had a couple of things to help with here at the studio. So I was
Okay.
like, okay, let's just piggyback. And
So you're trained in meditation. I'm not really trained in there, but I've done numerous different meditations. Do you think there's like a one size that fits all for everyone?
no, I do
Nice.
not. I do not.
Okay.
And I also don't necessarily think that my certification in meditation, honestly, matters all that much. It
Okay.
doesn't. I got it because publicly, I feel like people are looking for certifications before they try something
Okay.
if they're new to it. So for the people that matter, yeah, I got a certification in meditation. But there's so much that I learned. I don't know that certification taught me anything other than maybe kind of a structure to teach classes. But there's so much that you can learn on your own through, different courses, through YouTube. Like, I
Yeah.
love your connection to Joe Dispenza, and it's my dream to go to one of his things, but I've listened to hours and hours
Yeah.
of him talking, and I love what he teaches.
I was actually listening to him on the way here. It's called Out of the Box Meditation,
Okay.
where actually I did this about 2 weeks ago, where you concentrate on yourself because we all live in a box. They say this room is your box, your center, your reality, and you just move it to a different box, where whatever is here, all the bad stuff doesn't exist anymore. Like when I was back home 2 weeks ago visiting my parents, I suddenly got a fever one day of like 103. My parents were like, "Oh my God, you have COVID. You're sick. Take all these pills. Let's take you to the hospital," because I was bad. And I was like, "No, no, no, I'll be great in the morning." They're like, "No, what are you talking about? Like, are you delusional? You're flying out in 2 days. Like, you're not gonna be." So I listened to his meditation, the out of the box, because I was in a bad place in that box. I moved to a different box. My temperature went down a little bit. I did it one more time. It went down a
Wow.
little more. I went to sleep like at 7 p.m. Woke up at 6 a.m. and I went for a run. I was feeling great. Gone, completely gone.
Wow.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I feel like meditation, because of how we talked about like vibration and everything. I feel like people who meditate and are letting go of all of the stuff that either makes you depressed from the past or the future stuff that gets you all anxious, when you let go of that and you're in this present moment, like that's where you can vibrate higher. You're letting go of anything that you're disappointed in, that you've been angry with, that you've been fearful of. Like, you can let go of all of those things and you can recognize that in this moment, everything is exactly as it's supposed to be.
yeah.
And in that space of higher vibration, I know that, I mean, I truly feel that like I have stayed healthy, and I've probably had 2 colds in 5 years.
Wow, awesome.
And just, life is good when
Uh,
you're vibrating.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's,
I
to me,
agree.
that's because of meditation. And you were saying this, but I've had the similar experience of being in a meditation and literally feeling my body vibrate,
Yeah,
especially as I'm nearing like the last few minutes, and I get a little bit more conscious and I just feel my body
yeah.
vibrating, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking amazing.
But the part that sucks is when you actually feel that and knowledge that it goes away.
Yeah.
Because you're not in the moment anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
You're paying attention.
Yeah, you're paying attention. So I mean, for me to learn more, can you tell me about the different type of meditations and what might work better for other people?
So, okay, so this is kind of the continuum that I take people on. For me, guided meditations were my beginner. Like, that was my starting ground. And I had learned it in a class. I went to YouTube to try to get myself to do it on a regular basis. I was also using YouTube meditations at nighttime to help me sleep because I was waking up, I wasn't sleeping well.
Yeah.
So I would find something so that instead of, my mind going through a rabbit hole and staying awake for 3 hours, I would put something on that I wanted to use to intentionally guide, where my thoughts were going, and I would eventually fall back to sleep.
Those 8-hour meditations? Yeah.
Those long ones.
Yeah.
I have some favorite nighttime ones that I always share with people who are struggling with
Which
sleep
one?
or whatever.
You want to tell me?
Doxy, Dauchsy,
I'll take a look at it.
Doxy, and they're anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. So it got me from that 4 a.m. to 6:15 a.m. And there's lots of themes. There was the first one I liked. The first one that I listened to over and over again was a letting go, so that you're just letting go, because I feel like that's where so many things that distract us are in a space where we're trying to control and manage things, right?
Yeah.
We're trying so hard to make something. And
Have you ever noticed when you just let go, it tends to just fit in and work better?
yes,
Yeah, me too.
100%.
Yeah.
But that's I feel like that's a learned thing.
Yeah.
That's not what our society does. Our society says manage it, make a list of the things that you need
That
to do to happen to make it work. And
yeah, that's what I do. I like to think of what I'm wearing and just prioritize my day like 3 4 days in advance. And I'm like, no, you gotta just let go. You
yeah,
just go with the feeling.
let go.
Well, certain things, yeah, you want to control. But I honestly, I feel like every time I let go, it feels 10 times
It just
better.
exactly. And that's just one of the things. It's just one of the many, many things that have come along with this practice and living this lifestyle. And so I think that's why the letting go meditation was so important to me early on, was just teaching me this let go.
Yeah.
And things will fall into place the way they're supposed to. They're actually going to fall into place the way they're supposed to, whether you're managing
Yeah.
it or not.
Yeah, that's
It just
true.
takes so much more effort and energy to keep trying to manage things.
So usually when people go on vacation, they plan exactly where they're going to go, what they're going to do, their itineraries every day. Now when I travel, I just fly there. I
Hmm.
have no idea what's going on. I don't have a place to stay. I get there. Maybe I might get to the center of town, have lunch or dinner, and then I book a place to stay. I meet all these amazing people. They tell me where to go,
Oh, it's
and I
awesome.
always have a blast. I always like. I haven't gone somewhere and said, "Oh, this was terrible." I always have a blast, but I don't plan it.
That's awesome.
Maybe I might like that night plan the next day, but that's it.
So good.
Yeah,
So good. Well, okay. So going back to your original question of like,
meditation.
yeah, meditation. So those guided meditations were really, really good. And to me, I feel like those are kind of like training wheels, a training wheels kind of meditating. But if that's the only place you stay, that is better than nothing. So when I say that, I don't mean that in any sense of, well, you're going to always be a beginner. But that's a place to go because I mean, YouTube has a million ways that you can meditate and finding the, the voice and the style that you like that gets you doing this and taking time out of your day to intentionally be quiet and settle. Do that. I mean, and if that's where you stay, as a teacher, I'm totally fine with that. Um, I also think that getting to a place where you can just be quiet because we're not used to quiet. Like our world is not quiet and it doesn't honor quiet until you meet the right people, right? And you get in
Yeah.
those spaces where quiet matters. Um, and I remember hearing Brene Brown talk about how she schedules white space. She schedules white space into her day, so she doesn't allow anybody to intrude on that. It's just this quiet part of the day where, and you can make that look however you want. I also feel like meditating doesn't have to be in a quiet dark room with a candle. It can be
Can
on
it
a
be
walk.
can it be breathing exercises?
It can be breathing. It can be walking, hiking out in nature, especially if you're not like listening to a podcast
Yeah.
or loud music. If it's quiet and you're allowing your thoughts to just run their course.
Flow.
Yeah, flow and have that space to let your body process and let things come up. And I feel like that's one of the things that I run into a lot with people who are like, usually people who come into the studio are ready to try it. I hear from people who haven't come into the studio, oh, I can't meditate. I just can't quiet my mind.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do
But
that.
that's a shitty concept to have on anything in life. Just
Right.
try it.
Right.
Just try it.
Right.
Would you consider meditation or just being like a muscle? Because when I first started trying to meditate, I couldn't even do 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And I was like, dude, this is hard. This is challenging. I'm like, no, but I'm just going to keep at it. Now I could honestly sit there for over 4 hours because I did that this last weekend.
Yeah.
And meditate.
Yeah.
4 hours, 5 minutes to 4 hours is like a big deal.
It is. I also think it fluxes because there are times when I can do it for a long period of time. Now I haven't done 4 hours. My life has, but I can. There are times when I was in that space where I would set my timer, and could tell that the timer was going to go, and I would open my phone and I would open my eyes and I would move the timer and give myself another 30 minutes because
Oh, wow.
it just felt so delightful. I just felt so just like yummy. It just feels so
You're
good.
in the zone.
Yeah.
How
I
do
just was like,
how do I get into that zone more often?
I think you were going down the road of it's a muscle.
Yeah.
That it's just something that you just practice and you just make it be part of your life.
Yeah.
And it gets more and more comfortable.
It
And
does.
I noticed that I remember a couple times when I had practiced meditation and like I was doing my TM, my transcendental, on the regular basis. And then I slowed down for a bit and I wasn't making time for it. And then all of a sudden I was like, I got to do it. I got to get back. And as soon as I went there, I felt like my brain just was immediately like, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Nosedive into quiet. Just my body and my brain were just craving and I hadn't
Yeah.
given it that that quiet. And
I
it was
agree.
just like, we're going all the way down.
Uh, I see meditation now as like going to the gym, but for my mind, um, because like honestly, like sometimes we all get lazy. We don't want to go to the gym, but you
Yeah.
know how you drag yourself to the gym,
Hmm.
and at the end you're like, "Thank God I went. I feel
Yeah.
so great. Like
Yeah.
this was a great workout." But that's how I feel about meditation. Like at the end, you're like, "Oh my
100%.
God, I feel so lighter. I'm good.
Yeah.
Everything's cleared up." But when you first sit there, you're like, I'm gonna waste another hour doing this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And I think that's so interesting that you say, I'm going to waste an hour doing this, because I also feel like our society, we're just bucking all of these norms. And our society says, be busy, be productive,
Yeah.
show up, do the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't value the quiet and the restoration that comes from taking time to meditate and be in that space. So I can't remember what word you just that I was just like going down that rabbit hole with. But yeah, just doing the thing that, be the being,
Just being.
not the
Right.
doing.
Right.
Just be. And the more you allow yourself to stay in, for me, what I love to teach and what is huge to me is just teaching alignment. And to me, alignment means
What does that mean in alignment?
I am in direct connection with source energy, whatever universal source, creator, whatever energy that is to whatever person I'm talking to. For me, it's God. And
Nice.
when I'm in a space of, I'm not worrying about the past, the future, I'm just present and I'm listening
You're putting a smile on my face.
and I'm letting go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That alignment piece, that's what I seek
Yeah.
every time I go to meditation,
Yes.
is just that alignment. And I'm seeking confirmation, and I'm seeking that feeling of unconditional love
Yes.
that comes from there, that fills me up
That-
and makes me
I like what you're saying, lady.
able to go out and serve and just be exactly who I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be any people that I see around me or that I'm influenced by. I'm supposed to be me. And I get refilled in that space by being in alignment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that alignment piece is just so huge. And from that space, then I can just listen and submit and go and be who I'm supposed to be in any of the spaces I'm supposed to show up in.
When you said you listen, have you ever had like information downloaded, or like
Oh,
you because what happens, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes when you're just quiet, you just get random information. Like when inventors like Leonardo da Vinci and different people, they would say they just got these random ideas from nowhere. Like, have you ever had anything like that? It's called downloading
yeah.
information.
I would say, I think, well,
Or
this,
thought popped into your head. You're like, wow, that's a great idea.
yeah, I think so many things that are a part of our studio and our business now are absolutely just from source. And I think one of the things I was going to say early on was that I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, because I didn't know that this existed. And now I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in the creation. And this whole studio and community has evolved because I've just listened and felt like this is a good idea. Let me take this idea to my partners. And then as I listen to what their ideas are, and we agree, and we all go into this space of feeling and leaning into what seems like a good idea and trying to avoid the messes that aren't a good idea. So, not to say we haven't had a couple of those, but we try
Yeah.
to just learn from them.
Yeah, that's a learning curve.
So the downloads, yes, come. And I think that I don't know if I specifically am like, I just know that I'm living my life in a space of wanting to be prompted and wanting to be guided and directed. And
That's
so
awesome.
everything I try to do, especially here and with my family, is in that space. I would also say that very clearly I get downloads when I'm working with people one-on-one.
Really?
So that as I'm working with people, a lot of what I do is ask questions. So I'm asking them questions and letting them peer inside and really
Yeah.
get quiet and figure out what is it that I need to learn. What about this? What am I feeling about this? And uncovering all the emotions that are attached to different experiences and traumas and stuff. And so I know that on the regular, I will ask somebody a question and I will actually know the answer before they say it, because I'm tuned in and I'm listening. And so then, my body and my brain say, I know what she's going to say, but it's always this, okay, don't say it before she does. Don't say it before she does. Wait and listen and then let her say. Another thing that I do a lot is as we're talking about things, I'll use a scale. On a scale of 1 to 10, how intensely do you feel? Are you feeling the emotions of this right now? And then the number will pop into I will know the number before they say it. And then I always re-rate. So we do the thing that I do, which is EFT, and then we'll go through.
What's EFT? Just
EFT is emotional freedom technique. So it's an energy processing modality. And I use so much of Joe Dispenza's words when I'm talking to people about it, because Joe
nice.
Dispenza is, I feel like he's like the premier person who talks. There's other people who have written books, but he's the one that I'm most tuned into when it comes to trapped emotions.
Because there's science behind this, ladies and gentlemen. It's not
Yes.
just woo woo. It's not hippie stuff. There's scientific evidence
Yes.
that backs this up from very prestigious universities. There's fancy machines, fMRIs. There's there's certain machines that they had at the meditation retreat I was at that could pick up the energy in the room. And when everyone collectively meditated, that energy would spike. And so
Yeah.
I just want to throw that in there.
Yeah,
Please continue.
no, and that's why I love using Joe Dispenza, because he is a doctor. He's done the studies. He's not just somebody who wrote a book or hosts woo woo retreats. He's the real deal, and I love using his stuff. And I always will ask people, do you know Joe? Do you know Dr. Dispenza? Okay, he's the one who talks about this, and then I refer them back to like watching his videos and stuff about trapped emotion, because so many of the things that people struggle with in life right now, when you have, anger issues, chronic pain, anxiety, just outbursts of whatever it is, like so many of the things, if I can say, okay, what is the thing that you would like to release? If you could let go of feeling this or carrying this around with you, what would it be? We talk through it. I get them to talk about an experience when I got put in a room and nobody came to check on me for 3 days or 2 days. And it made me feel like nobody cared if I was around or not. Right. So we get to like, when is the first, okay, you felt in your marriage like nobody cared about what you said or where you were. When's the first time you felt that? And then we go back and they were like, oh, at 3 years old, I remember this. And then we talk about it. And that is the stored trauma in your body. So your body hangs on. And when we talk about it, and you talk about being that 3-year-old that got put in a room and no one checked on you for 8 to 10 hours, like, what did that feel like? There was this panic, there's this sadness, there's this abandonment, right? And so that's when I'll pull out my scale and say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, as you're telling me about this, how intensely are you feeling these emotions of fear and abandonment? And
when you talk to them and they're trying to explain it, can you see their body motion?
oh yeah,
like like they're talking with their body. You can see like they have that pain, that trauma
yeah,
build up.
So what's super cool is you see them, like, you'll see, collapsed shoulders, and you'll see tension in their face and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll have them rate the number, and then I'll go through emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. We tap on the energy meridians in your body as we say the words. I was so scared. I felt so awful. How could people forget me? How could no one want to know where I was? And we just say all these pent up things, and then we re-rate it. And I'll ask again, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how intensely are you feeling this emotion? They'll give me another number, and then we'll go back. And once I feel like we've gotten all of the bad out, then we go back and we put the good in. What would you like to feel instead? Instead of feeling like you don't matter and no one cares if you're here and your voice doesn't matter, what would you like to feel? And that's one of the times where I already know. I know the words that they're wanting, but I have to hear them from them. They have to be their words.
And they say the same thing that you're thinking?
Yeah.
So you guys are synchronized together.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's me also connecting with Source. And Source is telling me what she needs is she needs to feel heard. She needs to feel like her voice matters. She needs to feel like people care that she's in the room. And so that's where I'm like getting all chills right now.
I like how enthusiastic you are. Your voice. I can feel the energy in your voice. I'm looking at you, but I can feel the energy in your voice.
Yeah. So then we go back and we put those. So often when people will start out, they'll start out at like between a 7 and a 10 of like this yucky, intense emotion. Then we get them down, and a lot of times we'll get like 4 to 5, and they don't really feel better. They've gotten some of it out. They're not as sad. A lot of times people will cry, and I can feel the emotion builds as we're doing this, because it comes to the surface. And then I can tell when they've released it. I can tell in their face, and the tears stop. And that's when I'll finish that first round. And then we'll go into the second round with the good stuff. You're amazing. You are, all the things that they want to hear to fill back up this well with all the good stuff. And then almost always we'll get from like a 4 or a 5 to like a 1 or a 2. And they're just like, oh my gosh. And we have to add that number to it so that they don't forget that they were at an 8. And miraculously now we're at like a 1 or a 2, because all of a sudden, and that's where I can see like the lightness, like they become brighter,
Good.
lighter.
Yeah.
So that's like, and I'm always using Joe Dispenza in that. I'm like, he's the one who like talks about trapped emotion, and you're going to continue to feel this and live in the space of this pattern, this trauma, until you remove the trauma
Okay.
out of your body.
So just throw it out there, but Joe Dispenza talks about this stuff.
Yeah.
I like to put him on the pedestal, but this information has been around for thousands of years in the Eastern world. It's nothing new.
No.
It's not shocking. People knew about this. It's just that he's able to bring it to the Western world in a language and a way that we can understand it. Like people that grew up here, with like cell phones, or like in the 80s with MTV and that stuff. So we can understand it better. And that's why the way he explains it, and he's also charming and charismatic, it makes sense.
It does make sense.
And there's science to back it up.
And I think he's respected because he's a doctor.
Yes.
And so it moves out of this space of being this weird energy healer, crystals and whatever thing, into a space of science and, all the facts that he has to back up his.
When I was at his meditation retreat last week, there was a neuroscientist there. They had an fMRI, and that's a special machine that does like EEG on your brain waves when you meditate, and you could change your state. And there's like a bunch of science, and there's a bunch of money backing that up now. And there's proof that meditation will make you better as a person, like mentally, physically, spiritually. You're gonna be happier. And this doctor was at UCSD, and one of my friends actually from the retreat flew out there to get it tested on his head, and he's there right now. So there's like science to back it up. It's not just like, hey, just try it, and then that's why I don't like these gurus, because they're like, just do it. If you believe it, it will come. Like how? Like and then there's like a roadmap now, and then you're teaching to other people, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I just hope that I just want people to try it, because once you try it, like if you will do it consistently for any period of time, like it feels nice if you do it on a Friday afternoon, it feels nice to take an hour and feels, whatever, but that's not going to change your life. 1 hour meditation isn't going to change your life.
Yeah.
What will change your life is 20 minutes or 30 minutes every day for 30, 40, 100 days. Like
so
that starts to change your life.
I like to question everything because I don't want to take any of this at face value. But yes, there's even scientific evidence with the military. There's soldiers now meditating. When you do meditate for 20, 30 minutes a day for 30 days, not mentally, but physically, your brain just changes. Like it starts rearranging itself. And there's like neurons and more gray matter. So scientifically proven, your brain changes after 30 days. It becomes calmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I'm not a science person. I'm a feely person.
I am too, but
it's nice to know that.
And there's also some false people, or there's some people that think they know what they're talking about, but they don't. But I like to fact check everything.
Yeah.
But the meditation on point. On point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be sharing it if I hadn't already lived it. I mean, I wouldn't make this what I do every day if I didn't believe in it.
But that's past. Yeah. Well, think about it like this: with the real estate, you did it for so often, and you got sick of it. But this, I'm sure you could do this for another 20 years, and you're not gonna get tired of it.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Because you believe what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's
because
work.
I see it helping people. I see people walk out of classes feeling happier, lighter, and saying, "Oh, I needed that today. I needed that."
Here's one mistake I made with meditation: is I always thought it was a mind connection, but remember we're talking about it's a mind-body connection. I'm thinking that's why you do yoga too here.
Yes.
So
we do that, and we're not like your standard yoga studio where you're going to come in and get an hour of power yoga and you're going to leave sweaty and whatever. It's very much the mind-body connection.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
My favorite class to teach is a yoga and meditation together.
Perfect.
So that we spend like 30 minutes. We always spend the first few minutes of every class just talking to people, gauging what do you need? What brought you in today? What are you feeling? Like what are you carrying around in your life that feels heavy that you would like some relief from? And that's how all of our classes start, whether it's yoga or meditation. And because we're very much about you're having this human experience, and we want to go below the surface of, where everybody else lives. And I want to know what you've got going on. Are your kids a real struggle today? Is work a struggle? Is your self-worth a struggle? What is it that you're carrying around with you today that you would like some relief from? Let's work on that.
Let me get your thought on this because you said sometimes some people were in a room for 3 days and no one came to help them and they're feeling sad. And so I met some people at the meditation retreat and I actually booked a ticket. I'm flying to Guatemala to do a 7-day dark meditation retreat. Do you know what that is? So
Uh-uh.
for most people that don't know,
Sorry. Okay.
all right. So yeah, so that was a technical issue. Anyways,
Sorry.
so I'm going to Guatemala. So it's a dark room with there's no sound, no light, and no one to interact with, and you're just by yourself, no cell phone, no nothing for 7 days and 7 nights, of course, and you're just trapped in there. You're not trapped, but I mean, you could get out. But they feed you with a double door, so you don't see the people giving you the food or hear anything, and you're just there, you meditate, and just and yeah, just quiet.
Wow.
And Gandhi said, "Only in solitude can we hear the whispers of truth." So what do you feel about that? What do you think about that? I mean, that's very, very extreme. I don't think someone starting off should do anything like that.
No, I think that's down the road. Yeah,
That's
that's
definitely down the
definitely
road.
a down the road
But I've heard
situation.
people have like experiences like whoa, like they lose track of time and space. Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Do you, what are your thoughts on that?
I think you just have to, I think it's people's individual experiences. What are you ready for next?
Yeah.
What are you ready for next? What's going to serve you?
But I like pushing it to the limit myself. That's personally me, like because I like pushing it. But I don't really recommend that for most people.
No, I think you just have to see what you're ready for. And
Yeah.
then, and I think it's helpful to have people that you connect with that
Yeah.
have done different things. And then you can lean into, you know, what do you get to hear other people's experiences and then decide for
Nice.
yourself. Does this feel like a fit for me or not?
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Cool. I just want to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
And how do you like yoga yourself? Do you like doing yoga?
I do. I do like yoga. I had always been, because I'd been into fitness and everything, I always was about the push and the hardcore sweating, callousing and tearing my hands and all the hardcore stuff. And now at this phase of my life, I really, really love the softness
Uh
of
huh.
yoga and the restoration of
Okay.
it. Um, so yeah, I love it. I'm nearly done with my certification. I have been teaching because I already had different fitness certifications.
Okay.
And but I'm nearly done with my certification, and then I'll start teaching more classes. But I love the mind body connection piece of it. Just really pay attention to your body. What is your body telling you? What is your
Yeah, that's
body
true.
wanting? And don't go beyond that. Like, we want sensation, but not pain.
Yeah, yeah. And let me ask you, do you feel like your heart is like your second brain? Like you should listen to your heart when you do something? Because
Yes.
yeah, okay, good. I
And
mean, of course you do like Joe Dispenza.
yes, I feel like, is he the one who said that your brain will lie to you, but your heart won't?
I don't know, but that's kind of true. That does make sense because your brain is designed to protect you.
If you can feel, yeah, your brain is designed to protect you. So when you're paying attention to what you feel, like,
Yeah.
that's your heart,
D-
and when you listen to that, you won't go wrong.
Do you feel like your because I've heard this from a lot of people that your stomach or your gut is your third brain because there's like gut bio and
Yes.
stuff like that. You should take like be careful what you put inside of it too.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. The gut brain connection, that a lot
Yeah,
of anxiety can come from things that you're ingesting, like you're eating your diet. And then as you clear that out, it also can help your, how much anxiety you're feeling or processing.
nice. Okay, and on the last note, remember I asked you this question, but I didn't want the answer.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. So there's people that are stressed out or depressed, sad, not in a good place in life. What would be like the one advice you would be able to give them?
that would be to find the time on the regular to connect with source.
So consistently
That would
look
be,
within, in a sense.
yeah, yeah, finding that space, that whatever you can start with. Is it 10 minutes? Can you work up to 15? Can it be 20? Finding that time on the regular to just be quiet, to be in the present, to feel what present feels like. So if you're not a God or a source energy person, what does present feel like? And just sit right there and know that. If you will start paying attention to your breath, if you'll bring your breath down into the low part of your belly instead of up here in your chest and your lungs, like right up here in this top part of your body. You'll bring that breath all the way down and use your exhale to let go of the stress of your life, to breathe in light and love and exhale stress, tension, worry, and then expand that time. And sitting with that, like it starts to change you from the inside out. You just become different. You become more grounded. You become more present. You become calmer, more peaceful, less reactive to the world around you. So just taking that time and then expanding it till, and it doesn't have to overtake your life. Like you
No,
don't have
no,
to be someone who meditates 2 hours a day or 4 hours
no.
a
You
day,
don't have to do any of that.
right? So a 20 or 30 minute a day, and then start to look, what do I need to feel? What do I wish that I was feeling instead of some of the other things? Do I wish I felt better about myself? Do I wish I felt more confident? And just ask for that. I would love, help me, and just some intention. It can be,
Or
prayer is
yeah,
that asking and speaking and communicating with God, and meditating is listening and being filled and getting the answer. So
nice,
to
cool,
me, that's it. That's get present. And if you are a source or a God person, then connecting with source, God,
nice,
and letting him fill you and make you who he wants you to be.
awesome, cool. And where can we find your studio, or if people are looking for you
So,
online?
yeah, so our studio is in Ogden, Utah, right in the middle of downtown. And we are online at mymindbodycollective.com. That's our website. You can see what we've got going on. We have an online coaching program where we incorporate all of these cool energy practices.
Yeah,
We have in-person classes. We host retreats. So if you're a retreat person, you can click the retreat tab and see what we've got on the calendar, and we're always adding to that. Yeah, and then you can find me on there. Also, if anybody's feeling like they want that emotional freedom technique
yeah,
to work through something.
EFT, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Thank you so much for coming on
Thank
my
you.
podcast, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this episode, go ahead and subscribe. And
Awesome.
thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate
It's
it.
fabulous.